This podcast is brought to you by The Healthy Hub.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Just to Kick It is a Blessing podcast with your host, Keith Tupac Gatiramu. Today is a very, very special episode for me, So I met one of my friends last week, and, we sat down and we had a pretty interesting conversation. So I told him he has to be on the podcast before he flies back to school. And, we get to talk about a few things that I learned from him, So without further ado, I will let him introduce himself.
Good morning. My name is Daddys, and thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. It was such short notice and everything. But I'm really glad you've been here, man. So tell us, what have you been up to of late, bro?
I've been really blessed this year. I don't know even where I can start. But for the moment, I've been just enjoying my time with my friends and family, and try to make the most of it before I start now my new journey, which is to start in investment banking and everything.
Yeah. I saw you recently graduated, man. Tell me, how was that, man? How was 3 years in the UK for you, bro?
Bro, I don't know where I should start, to be fair. But all I can just say is that I'm actually blessed because it has not been an easy journey for me. For example, I've never been that type of a person that people always believed in.
Yeah.
And my journey to start from the university, to start from being somebody who didn't like school, to be somebody who graduated was really tough because 5 years ago, basically, my story is like the most complicated story ever.
Yeah.
I failed year 11 twice.
Yeah.
And the first reason was
Come a bit closer to the mic. Yeah.
The first reason was because I got dumped by my girlfriend.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend at that time.
Yeah.
And I got dumped on Saturday. Yeah. And then I was sitting for my exam on Monday, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I was so devastated that I didn't care about anything.
Yeah.
And I went to depression and all that. And the second year was that I got injured in football, which took me away from quite a time. But something that made me realize and made me think that school was very important was that it was a time where we were at Rising Stars. You remember those days with Luku, Wagi, and all those amazing people?
Yeah.
We were at Mercury, and there was that young lady that I used to like back in the day.
Yeah.
And her, she was in the UK studying and all that. And me, I was still figuring out what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, one of our friends came and he's like, "Oh, look at you. You study in the UK and all that. Why are you hanging around with this guy?" And then the girl looked at the guy. He's like, "What's wrong with this guy? Look at you. You study in the UK, but this guy, he hangs out with people who don't even know what they want in life and all that." So for me at the time, I really felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was like a slap in the face. It was the biggest disrespect in my life.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, a while ago, you asked me to buy your bottles. I bought you a bottle. Then, all of a sudden, in front of the girl that the girl that I like, you are disrespecting me like that. So, but the girl was so respectful, was like, "Oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry. He's just talking too much because he's a little bit tipsy and all that."
Yeah.
But I was hurt. I was really hurt inside. So I went back home. I told my mom, I was like, okay, even though I didn't do well in year 11, I'm still going to give it a chance.
Yeah.
So I went back. I restarted my year. I went to a tuition, homeschool and tuition center.
Yeah.
So I was like a private candidate. So I was studying on my own. I was motivated because I'm so blessed and fortunate to have 3 beautiful sisters who really motivated me at the hardest time. And I'm also blessed to have 2 friends of mine which I met in French school, Yassine and Luku, who were always there by my side when everybody turned their back on me. And as well with you and Rising Stars, Carl, Kobe, and the other guys that I forgot their name.
Yeah.
Sorry. But like my sisters motivated me because they used to tell me like, listen, there is no late in life. You can still take control of your life. And that's what I did, because my sister was just motivating me. She was like, oh, listen, Daddys, I know you don't like school because you love football and all that, but football won't be around for a long time. And you should look at like the bigger side of life, which is education.
Yeah.
So I went back. At that time, I think I was 18. And I was 18 like in year 11, I believe. So when I started, like I recited for my exams, and then everything went well. And then I told my mom, like, okay, instead of me going to do A-levels and all that, I'm going to go to college.
Yeah.
And then 2 years, but I was still hesitating because I was like, okay, with my college diploma, will I still go to uni and all that? So I was just passing by. And when I was passing by, I saw a big poster that was advertising university agency for people who want to study abroad and all that.
Yeah.
So at that time, me and my friends, Luko and Yassine, the only thing we wanted was to get out of Africa. We just wanted to get out of Africa. We're like, okay, even if we go to China or we go where, the most important thing for us is to get out of Africa, because we were just so frustrated by being the only guys like who are still in Kenya when the other guys left, you know. And then after that, I went. The lady asked me, she's like, okay, where will you want to study? And the UK wasn't even my number one choice.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go to Australia. I want to go to Cyprus. I want to go to China. I want to go like Bangkok or any place. But as long as that I get out of Africa, that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
And then the lady asked me, because I was just from Rising Stars training, and she said that, okay, do you play football? I'm like, yeah, I play football. And then she's like, oh, I know a university that you're going to like, so I'm going to give you three options.
Yeah.
Coventry, the University of Derby, and the University of Portsmouth. Me, I'm like, okay. I'm like, which one do you think they're going to take me? Because I wasn't sure with my grades. I was like, oh, which one do you think are going to take me?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know, Portsmouth, it's a little bit hard. You know, they're really strict when it comes to taking students, because they want just to have the best students and all that. So I was like, okay. The first offer came, Greenwich, but I did not even apply for Greenwich.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Coventry. But Coventry asked me like, okay, you have to do English test and all that. And at that time, my English was terrible. It was a little bit poor. And I was like, nah, if I do English, I will get exposed. So at that time, the offer of Portsmouth came late. It came like 1 month before I start uni.
Yeah.
And then I had to do like an interview with one of the agents of University of Portsmouth, because we were 5 students and they only wanted 3 students.
Wow.
So when they wanted 3 students, my interview was like with like top bright students. And I still think like I was just like, I wasn't lucky, but I wanted it more than anybody. And I showed it. Because when the lady told me that, okay, what do you think we should have you? I was like, yeah, I have that desire to change my life, you know.
Wow.
I have that motivation to switch my life around, because I felt like I wasted too much time doing nothing. I wasted too much time being depressed and everything.
Yeah.
But then like God showed me like a way that, okay, you can still turn your life from 0 to 100 if you want. And I told the lady, I'm like, yeah, I believe like most of these guys sitting around here, they might be smarter than me, but they don't have that heart to fight till the end that I have, that desire to change my life and to show that I deserve this opportunity more than anybody. So they made me wait like for like 2 hours, and at around like 9 p.m. they told me, listen, we're giving you this chance. We're giving you an offer. So are you willing to pay and all that? So I went, I told my dad, like, listen, I'm going to uni. My dad was like, nah, you're lying. You can't go to uni. Look at you. You can't even make your bed. You wake up at 3 and all that. What do you mean you will go to uni? You will go to uni to do what? So I'm like, yeah, listen, I'm going to uni. I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm going to uni. My mom was like, no, you're not going to uni. Stop lying, you know. How can you go to uni when you don't even have good grades? Because my mom was like, oh, you know, because my mom, she still have that mindset of like, yeah, university, you know, it's hard, you know. Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. So my sister Katia came and told my mom, like, listen, just give him a chance.
Yeah.
And my other sister Melissa was like, okay, just listen to him.
Yeah.
The way he's serious, I think this time he won't go, because my family knew me that in a way that every time they invest in my education, I always let them down.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, we cannot counter this guy. So when my dad came back, because my dad works in Congo, he's a businessman in Congo. So when my dad came to Nairobi, he just came for a day. And there was something that my dad told me in the elevator, inside the elevator, that really touched my heart. He's like, listen, I've never had the opportunity to go study abroad.
Yeah.
And I never had the opportunity to finish university or to go to university because my parents never had the funds. But if I'm sacrificing my money to pay for your tuition fees, please don't let me down.
Yeah.
Because in the UK, the living cost, the tuition fees, and everything is really expensive. And my dad told me, like, I believe in you. I know that you can change your life around, but please don't let me down. I know nobody have faith in you, but if I'm investing my money in you,
it shows I have faith in you.
It shows that I have faith in you. I was like, okay. What I responded, my dad, it's a French slang. I'm like, t'inquiète, like, oh, don't worry. He's like, oh, don't worry. It's a lot of money. If you messed up, just stay where you are. Don't come back.
Don't come back.
Just go get lost there, but don't come back.
Yeah.
So they did the visa process and everything. Yeah. So I ended up going. So the first day that I reached in the UK, bro, it was hard because new city, I'm living by myself and everything. So the first day I lost something like 800 pounds. I don't know, in the train, I don't know how I lost it, but I just lost it like this. So the first few months of my journey in the UK, I was just living on sardine and bread. Sardine and bread. Because I could not tell my dad like this, and you know, the money that you gave me. But the good thing about it was like I already paid my rent. So I was like, okay, sardine, it was like £2, £1. Yeah. So every day I was just eating the same thing. So when I reached, it was really tough for me because there was a lot of things that I didn't know how to do. I didn't know how to do a presentation. I didn't know how to do an essay. I didn't know how to speak good English. And I was like, but the thing about me is like I had that humility to go ask my colleagues, like, listen, I'm really struggling. Can you please put me even under your wing so that I can understand how this life works? Because I told myself, like, okay, if I put that arrogance, I put that kind of a mindset that I can do everything without anybody, I will fail.
Wow. Because
I just feel like in life, even if how rich you are, you still need somebody to help you out. And my first essay, I got a 25%. And when I got a 25%, it really shocked me. It was like, it really broke my heart. I was like, oh my God, I'm letting my parents down and all that. And then all my friends, my colleagues, they were just getting A's, B's and all that thing. But me, I got a 25%. So when they asked me, they're like, oh, as we got 70, as we got 65, what did you get?
You're hiding your paper, huh?
So I didn't hide that. I didn't hide. I was like, listen, I got 25. They're like, oh, how did you get 25? It was the easiest because it was in the beginning of the year, so it has to be easy. Yeah. So I went and told my friend, I was like, listen, it's easy for you, but for me it's hard. I want you guys to help me out. When you guys wake up to go to the library, I want to come with you. I want to learn how to write a British style essay and all the thing. And the guy was like, oh, okay, no problem. We're going to help you out and all that. So I came with all humility and that desire to learn.
Yeah.
And the thing about me, I'm a quick learner. So when I started learning, I became now in a certain of stage. When my friend got stuck, I started helping them out. Wow. And this shows that in life, you should always have faith in your ability to do great things and have faith in God. Because if I did not have faith in God, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah.
Because I believe I'm still the same person that I used to be 3 years ago. even though I've matured, I'm more wise, I'm more quiet. I don't talk as much as I used to do before.
It's even good to see you talking on the show, you know. I'm surprised.
It's an honor to be here, you see. But like, I can say my friends at uni are like the best friend I've ever had. They're like my family because they help me see the life in a different way.
Yeah.
They help me to count on myself instead of counting like, like those other guys of my age, like my dad has this, my dad has that, let me just wait. No. They help me to be independent. They help me to work hard. Because by being in the UK, it has transformed me in a way that I used to wake up at 5 a.m., go for running. And then at around 7, I come back, I go to the library. And then after library, I come back, I shower. And then I start like my journey to university and all that. And my first year in uni, I finished with 2-2.
Yeah.
Because it was really hard for me. It was just a year for me to adapt. Then my second year, I finished with the first class.
Wow.
And then my third year, because I broke my nose, I wanted to finish like with the first class, but I finished with 1% away from finishing with the first class.
Wow.
So for me, it's like, I just feel like in life, you shouldn't just sit around and you wait for your chances. You should go look for it.
You take them.
And take them. Because like they say there is a Cameroonian proverb that says, when you're a man, you don't get milk freely. You have to work to get your milk.
Wow.
In a way that if you're a man, you should fight for your heart. You should fight with all your desire. And you should always be like that person. You don't wait for people's opinion to just like demotivate you or to bring you down. As long as that you have God in you and you live for yourself, you will always accomplish anything. And the same way I came with the same mentality, I told myself that, okay, I'm going to the UK. It's not everything that I see in the UK that I should copy.
Yeah.
I should only take the good things and leave the bad things. The good thing was like to be humble, to be respectful, to be polite, to be hard worker, to help people around me, to be a good person in the society. And till now, I'm still the same person. I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Yeah, I know even when you're telling me,
you see,
I remember even when you're telling me about how you don't drink and how you don't smoke, I was surprised. But, you know, knowing you from back in the days and you never actually saw an interest in that. And
exactly.
You kept that all the way there. Was that hard though? Like not smoking and not drinking?
I feel like it's mostly with discipline.
Yeah.
You see, when you want something in life, you do whatever it takes to go get it, and you don't let anything to distract your mind. That's what I did. Because myself, like, my dad comes from a family of like a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
And my dad is like the only one who made it in the family.
Yeah.
So that makes the family still poor, because out of like 7 people, it's only 1 person who made it. And the rest are like still in poverty, like poverty. Yeah. In my head, we're still a poor family.
Yeah.
So I cannot party like the same guys because we don't have the same advantages. You see, some guy can party, but his dad has like million in his bank account. But me, I can do the same. Maybe my dad sold 1 land to afford for me tuition fees.
Yeah.
So I cannot just party and forget. No, I never forget where I come from. And what made me who I want to be in life is that every time when I remember, like when my dad used to struggle to pay for us tuition fees, when we used to sleep around, and then it was like a tiny house like this, and then when it rains, the water comes down, and then my dad is carrying my siblings so that we don't get sick and all that. It's still reminding me that, okay, you might be in the UK, you might see all those nice buildings and all that, all those pretty women and all those great guys with fancy cars and fancy watch, but it does not determine anything, because you can have everything and you're just a cross of a finger like this and you can lose it just like that.
Wow.
So you just have to be humble and hungry for success, because even though I got a degree and all that, in my head, I haven't reached yet. In my head, I'm still poor. In my head, I'm living to make sure that I'm creating generational wealth for my family, for my unborn children, for my wife.
Yeah.
I want my future wife like to be when they're gonna look at her, they will be like, wow, I would like to be in her place.
Yeah.
Wow, who is she? That's what drives me to be better. But like for me, I just see like alcohol won't bring any value in my life.
Yeah.
Drugs, cigarettes, and all that won't bring anything value in my life. Me, things that brings value in my life, it's watching your podcast, reading books, and watching educating videos, sometimes listening to music. I can go to the club.
Yeah.
But then like I'll only go to the club to relax, to make sure that all my friends are okay and all that, and also to remove some stress. But to drink and all that, I just don't see the point.
I remember even in Rising Stars, when we'd go to the club, you wouldn't drink,
Yeah.
But you said something very important that your sisters kept on telling you, and it's something that I've been also trying to tell myself, because I feel like I had a lot of pressure with this thing that we call time. Racing versus time. And you said something that actually was so important, was you're never too late.
Yeah, you're never too late.
You're never too late. And from that, like coming from you and hearing your story, it's better than now just seeing the social media posts that say you don't have to be married by 30, and all those tight deadlines that the world sets for us. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
My next thing was, for someone who hated school, for someone who did so badly in school, what advice would you give someone in your same position? Because I know many people, and I won't mention them because I might get in trouble, that they hate school, but some of them are even smart. They just don't like school. So what advice would you give them?
First, you should love what you do.
Yeah.
Loving what you do in a way that, like for example, I will give you an example. I have 2 colleagues that I used to play with them in Rising Stars.
Yeah.
And now the well-known rappers, Kaush and Kobe. When they rap, the first thing that you notice when they're rapping is that they love what they're doing.
Yeah.
You might be smart, but you have to love what you do.
Yeah.
Because what I used to tell myself is that you can control everything, but the only thing that you cannot control is time. Because when you have the opportunity to do something, don't do because you have seen your friends that like, oh, they don't like school, or because it's hard for them and all that. In my way, the way I live life, I'm not a negative person.
Yeah.
I'm always a positive person. And the friends that are around me, they are positive people. They think in a positive way. Because if you even if you fail in life,
Yeah.
there is always a second chance. You should always try and never give up. But if you are that kind of a person whereby you give up pretty easily, you let yourself down. I have grandpas that they finish university at like 65 after giving back like to my dad and my uncles.
Yeah.
But if it's not too late for them,
It's never too late.
why are you gonna get worried and be sad like, oh, I wish the worst thing in life is like to live life with regret.
Yeah.
Because right now we're like, I'm 24 and like I still have ahead of me like a lot of years around me.
Yeah.
But when I'm gonna be 40, 35, it's when like the real life starts. And I don't want to look back in my life. I'm like, I wish I did this more. I wish I've done this more. I want like to live my life in risk. I went to uni. I didn't know what I'm going to do to uni.
Yeah.
But I just went because I risked it. I'm like, okay, let me just go and do it. But for anybody who still thinks that education is bad, let me tell you, education, especially in Africa, education brings you respect.
Yeah.
Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not educated, you still won't get the respect that you want. Education helps you to be humble, wise. Education helps you to see things that you could not see. Education gives you confidence. And those are the things that are really valuable in life. I remember before I came to the UK, I didn't know how to respect women. But now, like when my mom looks at me, my siblings and all that, they're like, oh, you have become a gentleman.
Yeah.
You hold the door for us. You hold our chairs. You carry our bag. You did this and that. Why? Because I went to uni and I saw that what they were teaching us, it's not everything that they were teaching us was good.
Yeah.
Some were good, but
Yeah.
I only took the valuable things that is going to uplift me in my life. You see? Yeah.
Well, so you've mentioned the thing for when you went to uni, you didn't learn how, you didn't know how to respect women that well. So do you think that was something that was shaped by your past or how you were brought up?
Yeah, I feel like, most of us, like, we are born in blended family. And, like, each one of us, like, some of us, like, we have parents or uncles who used to mistreat our aunties. And, like, it really affects our childhood and all that.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me to become a better person, I had to cut all those memory out of my mind.
Yeah.
Because I remember I haven't lived so long with my dad and all that, because my dad is a businessman. Sometimes he's in New York or sometimes he's in Monaco or in Congo. But I used to stay with my uncles because I was very a troublemaker. And when I was with my uncle, I used to witness my uncle mistreating my auntie like crazy.
Yeah.
And I used to watch. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And when I started growing up, it started sticking with me in a way that when I had girlfriend, I was like, okay, I can do that because my uncle used to do it, so what?
Yeah.
And then when I realized it, I started getting attached with my siblings. I was like, no, for me to be a better example for my siblings, I have to be a better example for myself first. And to remove those things that don't add any value in my life. For example, it does not mean that if my uncle died from alcohol,
Yeah.
and he died like his heart was popping out like this.
Yeah.
And I told myself, like, it doesn't mean like if my uncle was an alcoholic or if my uncle was a woman beater,
Yeah.
that I also gonna be the same. I should try to be the best version of myself. I should be an inspiration for my sister and for those one who are around me. You see? So I was like, okay, what can I do to be better? I should understand more women. I should respect them. I should value them and should encourage them. I should protect them. I should listen and give them the attention that they deserve.
Yeah.
You see, because when you're a man, you should lead. But you also need a woman next to you.
Yeah.
To also give you some guidance on how to live and how to be better. But then, like, for me, I just feel like communication is the best thing. Because when I started communicating with my siblings and they started making me understand things that I wasn't saying, and I started noticing that, okay, those kind of things can be valuable for me in my relationship as well.
Yeah.
You see? So for me, I just feel like when you value a woman, you respect a woman, you protect a woman, and you love with all cares and all attention, you're not doing just a favor to yourself, you're doing a favor to the society, and you're trying to be like the best version you can be. Yeah.
Wow. Like, I think what you've brought out is actually so, like, important, because especially like the childhood trauma and everything, because even I look back at some of the things that I do and I can tell that I'm acting because of what's happened in my past, and I'm actually learning to deal with that. I've been going back and trying to open those little boxes that are trapped behind you that influence your behavior and you don't even understand it. But there's something you brought out, and I'd actually like to ask you about it. Blended families. How is it living in a blended family,
For me, I can just say, like, living in a blended family can be really tough because, for example, my mom and my dad divorced, like, when I was pretty small.
Yeah.
And I was blessed and fortunate to have, like, a good stepmom.
Yeah. Who
encouraged me because it wasn't easy to deal with a kid like me.
Yeah.
Wow. It wasn't easy. But if I was in a place, I don't think I will support it. But
yeah,
something I will say this is like the love of a father and the love of a mother cannot always come from someone who gave birth to you.
Wow.
Can come from someone else. You know, it doesn't mean that if your mom or they will give you the love that you want.
Yeah.
Like, I was pretty small, like, when my mom and my dad divorced. And, like, I remember all my siblings went to Kenya for education, and I stayed alone in Congo. And I called my biological mom. I'm like, oh, Mom, hello, have you forgotten me? Oh, yeah, Daddy, how have you been and all that? Oh, cut, what? I'm calling you back. And she never called back till now. She only tried to reach out to me, like, when I got my degree.
What? For that long?
Yeah. Wow. But, like, my real mom taught me how to love, taught me how to respect people, taught me how to...
Your real or your stepmom?
My stepmom, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
My
No
stepmom
problem. Yeah.
taught me how to respect people, how to be humble, how to live by fearing God, how to live with faith, how to be a good gentleman in the society. And but my actual mom never taught me that. My actual mom was more like, okay, you should not do this, you should not do that. You know, your family, it's only you, your dad, and all those people around are not your family. And at that time, I was very arrogant.
Yeah.
But what my stepmom used to, because I call her my mom, because I can't really call her my stepmom.
She's basically your mom.
I call her my mom because she brought so much into my life. Then even my own siblings call me like a mama's boy, because I cannot like do something without calling my mom.
Yeah. Before
she sleeps, I have to go, oh, Mom, did you sleep well? How was your day? And all that. And I just feel like being born or being raised in a blended family can also be a blessing to someone's life. Because if my mom was like a bad person,
yeah,
maybe you would have seen me on the street.
Yeah.
But she brought me up. She re-educated me. She gave me life. She gave me hope.
Yeah.
And she helped me understand that she never gave up on me. Like the way other days, she was always there by my side. Listen, just do this, do that. You know, even if you have relationship problems, come to me. I will give you advice and all that. And my mom, she's like my best friend.
Yeah.
I speak to her everything. She gives me advice. And if I am where I am today, it's because of my mom. You see? And I just wanted to say big shout out to my mom, Georgette. Mama, I love you, huh?
That's so nice, bro. But yeah. I understand that point. For you don't need to get mother or fatherly love just from your biological parents, because like even for me, I have like one of my closest friends, the mom, she treats me like a son for days, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like even last year, she had a surprise thing for me, and I knew nothing about it. You know, so I totally understand that point, man.
Exactly, because you can have a biological mom who mistreats you.
Yeah.
Me, my stepmom never even beats me like that. Like, she never done that. Every time when my dad tried like to be like, oh, I'm fed up with this guy, I had enough, just take him back to the village. My mom was like, no, just give him another chance. And then she would come in my room. Instead of shouting at me, she would be like, oh, what did you do again? Listen, you don't live life like this. But the most valuable advice that my mom always told me is like, listen, I know it's kind of tough for you to be in a blended family, but what you can do better is that to make sure that your kids doesn't experience the same thing that you're experiencing.
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
So that's why my mom always told me, like, listen, you have one heart for one woman. If you know you cannot engage yourself in something, don't do it. Because she used to tell me, like, listen, women are powerful. Women can bless your life. Women can destroy your life. So
choose wisely.
Out. Choose wisely. And she used to tell me, like,
advice.
Life, it's not a mathematical exercise where, like, you do in another paper, you rub it, and then you do it now. You only live once. So by living once, you have to think before you act.
Yeah.
If you know that you're gonna waste somebody else's daughter time,
stop it.
Don't go.
Got it. That's some good advice to me, you know. I used to like wasting people's time, you know.
No, you
But yeah,
guys-
that's a story for another day, though.
Yeah, yeah.
But bro, so as we come to the end of this episode,
Yeah.
I usually ask my guests 2 questions.
Yeah.
So number 1 question is, what advice would you give a younger you?
A younger me,
Yeah.
to not always trust friends.
Yeah.
Because some friends, they're just passengers in your journey. And some friends are part of your journey. You know, to have you around me, we have been friends for so long. And having Lukmanu, Yasin, and all my friends like that I met in the UK who are now part of my family, you guys really brought a lot in my life. And I just feel like a younger me, I will never live for the hype of people.
Yeah.
I will always live for myself and for God.
Wow.
And because if you live to impress people, you will reach into a point whereby you will realize that you have wasted so many time. But if you live for yourself, you will realize that you are living a good life because you don't live for people's opinion.
Wow.
It does not mean like if somebody has wronged you, you must do the same. Let it go. Let that person deal with it. You move forward with your life. Because once you think about it, you're blocking your own blessings. And for me, I just feel like I'm a really blessed person. For me, I just feel like all those people that they wronged me or all my friends that turned their backs on me when I was in the lowest of my life, they just, for me, it's like they brought something positive in me. Because right now, like when people see my mom, they're like, oh, your son is very polite. Your son is like this, is like that. Oh, you're too nice and all that. For me, I take it as blessing. But if I was that kind of a person where I always hold grudges, if somebody do something to me, I hold grudges, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
Me, the only advice I can give my younger me is that to be patient in life, to never give up, to be respectful around women, to love them, to value them, to protect them, to care about them, and as well to always to be a loyal person, to never forget where I come from.
Yeah. You brought up something before I ask you the last question. Yeah, you brought up something positive. Is you said if you hold grudges and everything, you're blocking blessings from yourself. You know, and for me, there's a quote that I've written in my wall. I've been looking at it now for like the last 2 weeks. Is you can't be happy with the world if you're angry with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you saying
Exactly.
it has actually just brought it back.
Exactly.
So, and I see when I look at my past behavior, and I also look at some of my friends or family behavior, they're really angry with the world, and no, I mean they're really angry with themselves, and you can see that leads them to be angry with the world. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me, with the girl that I'm seeing now, she always tells me, she's like, listen, in life, you have to be, you not always have to be a nice person, but in life, you have to be someone that you will live without regret.
Yeah.
Because when you live a blessing life, you wake up, you are positive. You are in your car when you're going for podcast, you're singing, you're happy and all that.
Yeah.
You don't allow negativity.
It's true.
There is some people that are just there to bring you down with them. So what you do, you don't give that space. Because some people, they think like just because their life didn't work out, even your life shouldn't work out.
Yeah.
But if you give that opportunity, you see, you might regret it later. Why did I follow it? That's why, live for yourself, have faith in God, be a positive person, stay close and loyal to the same people who have been there with you, and never let success or a degree or anything get over you. Always be humble.
All right. To my last question
Yeah.
is, what advice would you give an older you? What are you telling future daddies?
Being rich without people realizing that I'm rich.
Wow. That's good. That's some good advice.
Yeah.
Bro, I really want to thank you for coming today and, you know, sharing what you've gone through and telling us your story. And I have really learned a lot, you know. And that's why when we talked on Sunday, when we talked on Sunday, I told you I have to have you on the podcast, because seeing you even grow from that shy guy that was in the team that barely said anything to this guy who's spoken for most of the podcast is amazing. And I wish you all the best in your journey and everything. And God bless you, man. I don't know if you have any last words for the camera or anything.
All I can just say is, like, to everybody who are watching me, I will just say some few things, that in life we only live once. Don't live for the hype of friends. Live life for yourself. Never forget where you come from. Always respect people around you, because even the person who has no degree, one day can help you in life. So always have your foot in the ground. Always respect women. Always be a positive person. And most importantly, always have faith in God. Because without God, nothing is possible. And thank you for having me, Tupac. I really appreciate it.
For those who have tuned in today, thank you so much for watching this episode. I'd like to thank my guest for coming through, for sharing his knowledge and everything. I really appreciate it. See you next week. Goodbye.